What if vampires were real and lived amongst us? What up, guys? Total Control 871. What if vampires were real? Imagine, if you will, we had a society kind of like True Blood. I tried watching the series. Won't bore you with details now, but I just couldn't really get into it. A lot of things about the series I just couldn't really get into. But what if we had all of our good guy vampires living amongst us? Not just Edward, but the entire, what is it, Cullen clan? All those good guy vampires. And what if they were joined with Louis, from Interview with a Vampire, a good guy vampire, okay? And what if they were joined by Nicholas, Forever Knight, another good guy vampire, and like I said, I am sorry, I forget the name of the good guy vampire from True Blood, but my point is that what if all of a sudden we were inundated with all of these good guy vampires, and like the plot, or what of it that I was able to see and tolerate from True Blood, what if these vampires were, they called it coming out of the coffin, to live amongst humans. Live amongst humans. Coming out of the coffin, live amongst humans. Now, of course, what if all of a sudden there were a series of events, political events, that took place that made living amongst us humans more palatable? What if, and of course it was all done under subterfuge for different reasons. Let's say one particular group of vampires are laboring hard to liberate the poverty of the American farmers. Let's stop the poverty of food disparity. We're going to use our great vampire powers and great vampire wealth to eliminate to everything that's inherent to farming and makes farming difficult. We hear about all the things, droughts and stuff like that. What if they invent, because they live for centuries and have accrued vast wealth, and and of course everything new is so good, good and progressive. Here's our replicated or engineered, our genetically engineered produce. Pennies for output. Migrant slave labor is a thing of the past. Starving farmers, thing of the past. Government grants, a thing of the past. Engineered produce, and of course, in this particular produce, it's just simply a coincidence that the thing that made garlic detrimental to vampires has been engineered out. And what if, now you'll just simply have to be a fan of this anime sci-fi show, Ghost in the Shell, where they have something called a ghost key. It goes beyond retinal fingerprints. It goes beyond all that. It's basically your essence, your spirit, your ghost. The thing that lives inside you. It's a ghost key, and people would use it for, financial transactions. What if a ghost key could be harnessed, and now, of course, through technology and all the wonderful things that technology brings us. There was a natural disaster, fire, flood, and the vampires wanted to save you, but of course because I'm following along with vampire mythology here, the mythos that surrounds vampires. And they wanted to save you, but a vampire has to be invited into your home. But now that we have the technology of the ghost key, well, now it's also the home itself can electronically invite the vampire in. And of course, if a person were to own massive acreage and people have to travel through, like you have county roads that'll go through, all of a sudden it's akin to segregation. Vampires can't come here, they're not invited. Oh my God, legislation gets put through, it's a discrimination bill. So now you don't have the protection of inviting a vampire in. Rare earth, plundering the earth. Again, conservation, very progressive agendas. Let's stop plundering our earth. Let's stop ravaging our earth. We're pulling out all of these, the pollution that goes into mining. And so allow us, again, our vampires, to use our vampire wealth and abilities to give us the digital currency, the digital money. You don't have to mine precious metals, like gold or silver. And of course, were people like me to suddenly point out, were I to start going public, were I to use my YouTube channel to start talking about, oh my God, we are losing all of our protections, and all anybody can think about is the advancement, how things are getting better. We can't use garlic anymore. We don't have to invite them in anymore. We don't have silver anymore. Then all of a sudden come the Wooden Stake Act that gets put into legislation. A wooden stake, that's akin to a black person having a noose put up in front of their house, or a Jewish person having a swastika, or the Wooden Stake Act passes and becomes law. No American citizen under penalty of law is allowed to sharpen a piece of genuine wood. Any form of wood cannot be sharpened into a stake. And of course, because again, I was saying about how the whole bushcraft thing gets so super duper commercialized, because when you got a tent, it comes with metal stakes that you. But of course, in bushcrafting, you take your axe and you fashion from branches. You make a stake and you stake out your tent. That's now illegal. Under a federal hate crime, you could spend decades in prison. Because you made a stake. Might sound crazy, but hey, don't we live in a reality where the very act of breathing normally, unobstructed, is now a criminal act? So, I think you followed my analogy here. I have faith in your ability to connect the dots. The deep state, radical left. They have shrouded themselves. This is definitely the Pieds de Resistance of all wolf disguises. The wolf is in and among not just the three little piggies, but all the piggies. The wolf is in the pig pen. The fox is in the hen house. Whatever analogy you want to use, they're walking about completely undetected. They're performing miracles. They're making your life better for now. They are priming you. Okay? I could so go to Rod Serling, that episode, Twilight Zone, to serve humans. And that is exactly what's happening right now. While you're all fawning over yourself over how the Democrats have just simply, they're using their powers right now to rig an election. Don't go vote in person, despite the fact that we are indeed seeing evidence of voter fraud. What if vampires lived among us? And what if our ability to defend ourselves from those vampires was suddenly gone? Total Control 871.